CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins being targeted for WrestleMania 41. This is just a massive mistake. None of these guys should be in a triple threat at WrestleMania unless it's for a world championship. I know it sounds great on paper to have these three collide. We have the story of them in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, Punk eliminates Rollins and Roman. Rollins retaliates afterwards, attacking both of them, curb stomps Roman. That curb stomp was obviously mean. He put both feet into it. The brawl with CM Punk. This story has been building for quite some time, but it should end in one-on-one matches. Each one of these three guys should have one-on-one matches with each other. I'm not a fan of a triple threat because the way I look at it, this is just a way to have Roman versus Punk without either of them being pinned. Because if this triple threat goes on, I'm not sure who would win, as of right now, whether it is Roman, whether it is Punk. But I do know one thing. It's so Seth Rollins can eat the pin. And I'm not a fan of that. If you're going to have this big-time dream match like CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, let them go one-on-one and let one of them pin the other. That's what makes a dream match so special, is to have the moments, to have somebody beat the other man. There's a reason why we want to see the match, or else we would just be fine with seeing them interact in the Royal Rumble or in the Chamber or things like that. We want the moment. Imagine if The Rock versus Hulk Hogan had a third man in there. Imagine if The Rock versus John Cena had a third man in there. And I know Seth Rollins is a credible star in his own right. He's just a tier below both of these guys. And it's not saying he can't carry a storyline with both of them. He's a perfect B-side to Roman Reigns. He's a perfect B-side to CM Punk. But as a triple threat, I don't like this. And this means a couple things to me. First off, this means The Rock isn't featured in WrestleMania. Because as we know, the Elimination Chamber is going to be to decide probably Cody Rhodes' opponent. Right? As of right now, Jey Uso still hasn't given his decision whether he's going after Cody, whether he's going after Gunther. I think we all know he's going after Gunther. So the Elimination Chamber will be to determine Cody Rhodes' challenger. Now, with that being said, Roman Reigns is the only other person that makes sense for The Rock to face. It's either Cody or Roman. And if Roman's in this triple threat, obviously we don't get The Rock. And if we don't get The Rock, then what was the point of the Bad Blood ending? Where he came out, he did the 1, 2, 3, slice of the throat. What was the point of that? Why did that match main event, Bad Blood over CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell, for The Rock to come do that if he's not even going to wrestle? And I would imagine The Rock knew then he wasn't going to wrestle. At least I would hope so. I can't imagine this is a new thing that came up within the last 2 months, that he's not going to be ready for WrestleMania. I like Triple H's booking. I think most of us do. We're happy with the changing of the guard. But Triple H does have some massive mistakes within his time too. It's not all rainbows and ponies. He does mess up. And I think this is a fumble if he does go this direction of the triple threat. I'm not still buying the triple threat because as of right now, I don't think John Cena is going to be the one to win the Elimination Chamber. I don't think we're getting Cena versus Cody. So to me, Cody's challenger could still be CM Punk. And I'm fully on board with that. I'm okay with Punk winning the Elimination Chamber, and then we do Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. I think that makes perfect sense. Obviously, Seth helped cost Roman his world championship last year in the main event of WrestleMania. They have the story, that spans over many, many years, 13 years at this point, since Seth had turned on him. So to me, Seth versus Roman makes perfect sense. Another thing I don't like that Drew McIntyre isn't involved in this. His whole character, the last few months, has been targeted on the Bloodline. Drew McIntyre has been targeting Bloodline and Roman Reigns for months. And then now it's WrestleMania season, and now he's just going to transition off to somebody like Damian Priest. I'm not a fan of that. Damian Priest this last year, he's really stepped up. He is a proven main eventer. But Drew McIntyre belongs in this type of story with these stars, with these heavy hitters over Damian Priest. I'm not trying to knock Damian Priest. I really am glad that Damian Priest has stepped up. He had the opportunity. He had a great world championship run. He proved he is on that level. But I don't want to see Drew McIntyre's character look silly. Because that's how I'm going to view him. As a silly character after months, all he's focused on is Roman Reigns, the people that team with Roman Reigns, the Bloodline. And then now Seth and Punk are getting a match with Roman, but Drew's not because he's too focused on Damian Priest, eliminating him from the Royal Rumble. What about everything that the Bloodline did cost him? What about everything that Roman Reigns took from him? I want to see Drew back on that. If anything, I think this should be a fatal 4-way. I'm not a fan of the triple threat because it leaves Drew behind. And Drew belongs in this story just as much as anybody. Obviously, he had his story with CM Punk. One of the best stories in years. Rivalry of the year of 2024. But now he's just going to take a step back to be middle of the card against Damian Priest. I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not. Maybe Damian Priest deserves a big match too. Because I agree with that. I think Damian Priest does deserve a big match. And there's other big matches out there for somebody like Damian Priest that doesn't involve somebody like Drew McIntyre just because of the story that has been told to us for weeks and months. That's not, now again, I know there is a story with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. I know Priest cashed in on him. He took the world championship from him. They had the match at Clash at the Castle. I know there's a story. There is a rivalry. But that doesn't mean Drew McIntyre should lose focus of the bloodline in Roman Reigns. He's basically been a bloodline hunter for a few months now. I don't like this transition. Yeah, as I said, Damian Priest cashed in. That was last WrestleMania. It didn't bother Drew now. Obviously, the stuff with the bloodline happened years ago, but that's been what his focus has been. So I don't like that option. And then if they do this triple threat, I mean, how does it not main event night one, right? Just given the stars. Is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins not going to main event night one? And here's why I don't like that. I don't like that because I don't think that story, that match, deserves it. In a weird way, less is more. I think if you do CM Punk versus Roman Reigns one-on-one, that could main event. I think if you did, even if you did Rollins versus Reigns, that could main event. A little less likely, but still, I mean, Roman Reigns, he's been the main eventer of WrestleMania the last couple years. I mean, he has the most WrestleMania main events of all time. I think that you would be doing CM Punk a favor by putting him in there with Roman Reigns if you're Paul Heyman, right? That's what the story should be. We still have that favor out there. That should be the favor. The favor is I want Roman in the main event of WrestleMania. But I just think they haven't even figured out the favor. I think what they did is they just did it. They said, we'll come back to that later. We'll tease it here and there. We'll let fans speculate. Maybe we'll steal from them, see what they think, if anybody comes up with a good idea. But I think as of right now, they have no idea the direction that they're going to go. I don't think they know what the favor is. I don't think when they made CM Punk team with the Bloodline at War Games, I don't think they even knew then. And I think right now, they're still trying to figure it out. And I think if you want to incorporate the favor in this, I think it needs to be one-on-one. Right? Maybe that's what they do. Maybe they are heading towards a triple threat match. And then the favor is to get Rollins out of it. Maybe it's something like that. I'm not even a fan of that idea. It's just I think that would be better than going forward with the triple threat. I think to get the moment of Roman Reigns versus CM Punk face-to-face, locking up at WrestleMania needs to happen. And with Seth standing there, it's not going to go down like that. And I don't like that. Now, if they want to go, I mean, we already have the Elimination Chamber. Is going to be for the WWE Champion Challenger. But I was going to say, if there was some sort of stakes on the line for this triple threat, maybe the winner gets a title match the next night, something along those lines, then I would be more for it. If there's something on the line. But if we're just having a triple threat just to have a triple threat, there's no stakes, there's no rewards, it's just all three of these guys have issues with each other, then it's a massive mistake. What I suggest is we get CM Punk versus Roman Reigns one-on-one, or CM Punk wins the Elimination Chamber and we get CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. Then you go Roman versus Rollins. That would be my choice, because I made a video yesterday talking about how I think John Cena's retirement tour has been off to a bad start, and I think John Cena isn't going to win the Elimination Chamber because he's not there to build it. If I had the pen and paper, I would go CM Punk wins the Chamber, we get CM Punk versus Cody. They've already planted the seeds with that. Both those guys can tell incredible stories on the mic. Then I would go Drew versus Cena. I think that's the kind of match Drew deserves at WrestleMania. Be John Cena's last WrestleMania match. And then go Rollins Reigns. That's what I would do. I don't want to see a triple threat. I don't want to see Drew face Damian Priest. Even if we get Drew into this storyline with Roman, if we go Roman versus Drew, I'm down for that too. Because that seems like the proper end to the story. CM Punk versus Reigns makes a lot of sense. I'm down for that. Drew versus Reigns makes a lot of sense. Rollins versus Reigns makes a lot of sense. Hats off to Roman because he has built stories and rivalries with several top stars that it would make sense for him to face any of them. But what I don't want to see is multiple people face him. I want to see a one-on-one match. And I'm a big fan of multi-man matches. But there needs to be something on the line. There needs to be a world title, a title opportunity, something of those lines. But let's talk about it if we do get the triple threat. If I am wrong, and they do go this direction, they do go Rollins versus Punk versus Reigns, who does that leave to challenge Cody? I'm sure most people are going to say Cena. I think some people think Cena's going to win the Elimination Chamber already. I don't see it. I truly don't. I don't think they're going to give Cena the Elimination Chamber after not being there to build it. It just wouldn't make sense. It doesn't fit Cena's character. I think Cena's character is more of a earn, not given. And he's already been given the opportunity in the chamber. I don't feel like that would be right to fit John Cena's character. I think John Cena is going to end up losing the chamber, and that's going to set up his WrestleMania feud. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they go Cody Cena. It is a dream match of sorts. It is a passing of the torch. I mean, Roman's not going to be in the chamber. We know that. They already announced on Raw he's going to miss an extended period of time. Is there any chance they go back to Rollins versus Cody? I don't think so. So I think something needs to happen in this chamber to give Cody a number one contender, but also separate this triple threat. I don't want to see the triple threat. Even if we go back to CM Punk versus Rollins one-on-one, even though we had just seen it on the Raw on Netflix, that's okay because that story didn't feel like it was over. That felt like there's a lot left on the table, and I think they're going to go back to it at some point, and I think they're going to do it in a one-on-one. I just don't see it happening at WrestleMania yet. But if Reigns isn't here to even build this triple threat, it's just going to feel weird to me anyways, to have CM Punk and Seth Rollins kind of button heads. They're going to be in the chamber together, I assume. I assume Seth is going to beat Finn. So they're going to be in the chamber. They're going to be building their story, and then Roman's just going to get dropped into their story. It's just going to feel weird. It's not going to feel like this is the story that we're asking for WrestleMania. This just doesn't feel like a WrestleMania match. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys think otherwise. Maybe you think this story will be perfect. Maybe this is the match you want. But to me, something just feels like it's missing from this triple threat. I'm not into it. It's not what I want to see. I want to see one-on-one action at WrestleMania, especially if it's going to main event WrestleMania. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree.